Greetings. In this video, we will discuss a true story that happened in a village. When a child finds a statuette, endless terror arises. Good vision. Alessio, a lively 10-year-old boy, goes to play on the beach with his friends during a hot summer day. The sound of flowing water and the laughter of children fill the air. While building sandcastles, Alessio notices something strange beneath the surface. A statuette. He examines it carefully, intrigued by the object's intricate details.
Look what I found.
Alessio exclaims, showing the statuette to his friends. Some laugh, others look perplexed, but Alessio is fascinated. Enthusiastic, he takes it home and shows it to his parents. Her father, Carlo, takes it in his hand and examines it, and then, shrugging his shoulders, says,
"It just looks like an old statuette. There's no harm in keeping it, Alessio."
His mother, Marta, smiles and, unaware of what would happen soon, says,
"Yes, of course. Love, you can keep her in your room."
After a week, the parents begin to notice worrying changes in Alessio. The child, once so lively and cheerful, now seems more and more distant. He no longer runs to meet his friends to play, preferring to stay indoors, immersed in an oppressive silence. His joy seems to have vanished, replaced by a shadow of sadness that does not leave his face. Marta, the mother, is the first to notice these disturbing signs. His heart aches every time he sees his son sitting in a corner, staring into space. One day, he decides to confront him.
"Honey, what's wrong? Why don't you go play outside?"
The mother asks, trying to mask her concern with a soft tone. She sits next to him and strokes his hair gently, hoping to provide some comfort. Alessio, with a very strange way of acting, raises his eyes only for a moment, then lowers them again.
I don't feel like it.
Alessio replies with a monotone and emotionless voice. It was obvious that the child had lost all his vitality. The nights become even more disturbing. Carlo, the father, wakes up one night hearing a strange noise. He notices a light on in the hallway. With his heart pounding, he gets out of bed and heads towards the source of the light. He finds Alessio walking slowly, almost as if in a trance, with his eyes fixed straight ahead.
"Alessio, what are you doing up?"
Carlo asks, trying not to panic. But the child doesn't respond. He continues walking aimlessly, as if he were guided by an invisible force. This scene repeats itself for several nights until one night something even more frightening happens. Marta wakes up with a start, struck by a feeling of cold and restlessness. He turns to Carlo and asks him to go and check on Alessio. Carlo gets up and goes towards Alessio's room. But when he opens the door, he finds the bed empty. His heart leaps into his throat. He runs into the bedroom and shakes Marta, who wakes up immediately, and with a voice full of terror, he says,
"Marta, Alessio is not in his room."
Marta jumps up, her heart beats loudly in her chest, and together they run throughout the house, desperately looking for their son. They call his name, check every room, every corner, but Alessio seems to have vanished into thin air. Fear creeps into their hearts as they realize something terrible is happening to their child. Marta is in a panic while Carlo, trying to stay calm, tries to reassure Marta and says,
"Let's search the whole neighborhood."
Finding no traces of Alessio, they decide to report his disappearance to the police. The agents begin a desperate search. After hours of anguish, Alessio is found in a catatonic state near the beach where he found the statuette. Marta bursts into tears and, holding him tightly, says,
"Thank God, we found it."
Alessio is taken to hospital and subjected to numerous tests. Every time a doctor enters the room, Marta and Carlo hold their breath, hoping for an answer. Strangely, he turns out to be in perfect physical condition. A doctor comes up with the results and says,
"There's nothing physically wrong with him. It's like he's in a state of shock."
However, Alessio's behavior worsens. He has identity crises, convulsions, and manifests telekinetic abilities.
Mom, look, see what I can do.
He shouts one day, sending a glass flying across the room without touching it. Marta is terrified while Carlo tries to rationalize the incredible. A hypnosis specialist is called to help Alessio. During a session, the child alternates between himself and an unknown entity. Suddenly, with a disturbing voice that is certainly not his and a terrifying laugh, he says,
"I'm Siba, and I won't leave. The child is ours and we can do what we want with it."
The situation degenerates rapidly. Alessio becomes violent and blasphemous, while Carlo and Marta, shocked and helpless, begin to believe that it is a demonic possession and turn to a Hindu holy man. A religious treatment begins to free Alessio from the demon. However, the holy man's every move is anticipated by the child, who manages to read his parents' minds and resist the ritual, and then with an evil smile, screams that they cannot defeat him. The fight between the holy man and the demon becomes more and more intense. Carlo clenches his fist, feeling the frustration and fear growing inside him. The holy man discovers that the statuette contains a demon chased away about 70 years earlier by a local priest. It comes to light that Alessio's great-grandfather had been possessed by the same demon. The statuette, used in the exorcism of the time, had been buried in a sacred place, but an earthquake had brought it back to light, allowing the demon to free itself.
Your family is cursed,
says the holy man to Carlo and Marta. This demon has sworn to destroy you and your descendants. After 17 days of exorcism, Alessio is apparently freed from the demon Sheba. The child collapses, exhausted, while Marta and Carlo embrace each other, relieved but still fearful, wondering if it's really over. 8 years later, at the age of 18, on June 6th, Alessio disappears together with 5 boys from the village. 6 boys disappear exactly on the 6th of the 6th month of the year. The number 666 appears as a clear sign of the demon's return. Shortly thereafter, another figurine is discovered near the town, signaling the start of strange new behavior in another child. A new force of evil is emerging, and no one seems capable of stopping it. The story of Alessio and the cursed statuette continues to spread terror, leaving the world wondering what the demon Sheba will do next. Marta and Carlo, now consumed by fear and pain, know that their battle is not over.
We won't give up. We will find a way to stop him.
Carlo says, shaking Marta's hand, with the photos of his now distant son. One day, Carlo hears voices coming from the nearby town, talking about Alessio spotted in the company of a group of disturbing-looking people. The inhabitants live in terror. They tell of animals found decapitated and strange smells in the middle of the night. The most disturbing thing is that those boys call Alessio Master. All this inevitably leads to the thought that Alessio created a religious sect in the name of the demon Sheba. It doesn't take long before, in addition to the discovery of dead animals, new disappearances occur. In nearby towns, other kids vanish into thin air, and the oddities multiply. Desecrations of tombs and cemeteries, structural damage to churches, and blood-pact rites with the evil one become daily events. The police are desperately trying to stop this massacre, but their efforts are in vain. It seems that Satanism and its related organizations have taken over, and nothing seems to be working to put an end to this. What is really hidden behind these figurines? Who is the Sheba demon, and who will be the next to fall victim to evil? Alessio's story is just the beginning of a nightmare that no one could have ever imagined. And now tell me, have you ever heard of demons and religious sects where Satanism is practiced? Do you believe that this phenomenon is truly a danger to humanity? If you like this video, put a like and subscribe to the channel, because this is Midnight Horror Echoes. Stories of blood,